Good morning. Welcome back to the Red Mic. Sorry, a little under the weather this morning. Thanks for being here. It's Thursday. Let's jump into this, shall we? These Red Mic messages are leadership and life lessons I picked up from 25 years as a public servant, 16 years as a youth football coach and scouting volunteer, and 10 years as a mediocre athlete with far more heart than actual physical ability. Today's Red Mic message: why doesn't he hit good? There's a There's a scene that I love in the movie Moneyball. Billy Bean, who's the general manager of the Oakland A's, well, I'm sure they're going to be the Las Vegas A's soon. He's sitting with the scouts, and they're all talking about some kid they think is great and ready for the majors. They talk about the way he walks and his jawline and the pop of the bat when it hits the ball. And they talk about, athleticism and five tools and great body, smooth swing. And Billy cuts through all the BS and crap with one question: if he's a good hitter, why doesn't he hit good? Yeah, it's not proper grammar, but it's perfect logic. And it sort of encapsulates everything that Billy and Peter Brand do in that movie about blowing up the game. If you're hiring a hitter, it doesn't matter what they look like. It doesn't matter how pretty their swing is or how symmetrical their body is. None of that matters. You want hits. You want results. It's not just true in baseball. It's true in life. I've worked in and around state government for 25 years, and I've seen more than a few people who look the part. Ivy League degrees or, the big two here in Texas. Clean suits, crisp. They talk a great game. They knew all the acronyms, but just like that kid in Moneyball, once the game started, they couldn't hit. And here's something a little personal. I went to a small Division two school. Actually, it wasn't even D2 when I was there. We were NAIA for basketball and Division three for football. Midwestern State University, maroon and gold. We were the Indians then. They're the Mustangs now, and I refuse to call them the Mustangs. I'll be an Indian till I die. Unless you're from Texas, you've probably never even heard of Midwestern. Um, Unless you happen to play them in basketball or football. Those were, the big things that Midwestern was known for. Uh, Dome Magic, the tribe, all of that. The thing about Midwestern that I thought was great is my classes were small. My professors knew my name. They knew a lot about me. And I left prepared. And I'd put my education and my experience there up against anybody. It wasn't the big school. It wasn't an Ivy League. It wasn't one of the big two here in Texas. Um, but even with all of that, if I'd known I was going into government, I probably would have picked one of the other schools. I would have gone to UT or A&M, not because I necessarily think that those people are better prepared, but those two schools carry a lot of cachet in state government, particularly. I often joke that my degree is the wrong shade of maroon. So, yeah, there is a lesson there. Sometimes people don't look past the label. They fall in love with the pedigree or the packaging or the polish or the name on the name of the school on the degree. But if you're hired to be a hitter, then you need to be able to hit. You got to look at the stats because all the tools in the world don't matter if the person doesn't produce. So, the red mic message for the day: don't be fooled by the sound of their swing. Don't be blinded by the brand on the degree. Don't be confused if they look like a hitter, but they don't hit. You've got to, even if you don't look like a hitter, you got to be able to put the ball in play. So ask the real question: Again, back to Billy Beane. If he's a good hitter, why doesn't he hit good? And that's today's Red Mike message. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you found it helpful. I hope you'll give me a like, a follow, and a share. I appreciate you being here. Don't forget, life is short. Drink the bourbon and make sure you hire somebody who can actually hit. I'll see you tomorrow.